to our official Malcolm E. Nettingham renaming ceremony. I am Norman D. Beverslew, Student Council President.
And I am Ryder Richer, Student Council Vice President.
We are thrilled to welcome many special guests, both from our community and the country, here to our school for this special day. Please stand briefly to be acknowledged when you hear your name or organization. The Nettingham family and friends. Mayor Lizardo, Mayor Marr, and our town council members. Major General Rodney Falk and U.S. Army officers and personnel. Dr. Mast, our superintendent, and Dr. McGarry, our assistant superintendent. Our Board of Education members. District supervisors, administrators, and personnel. SPF-HS Black Student Union. Social Justice Matters. The Real Parents SPF. And of course, some of our amazing Nettingham students. And a warm welcome to everyone else in person or watching on the live stream today. We are so happy you can join us on this historic day.
Today we are here to recognize the enduring legacy of Mr. Malcolm E. Nettingham, who lived in Scotch Plains for almost 100 years and attended this very school when it was Scotch Plains High School. Mr. Nettingham was deeply dedicated to the town. He worked on many community improvement efforts and was an active member of the Metropolitan Baptist Church, where he sang in the men's chorus. He raised his two children, Malcolm V. and Deborah here, and visited many of our schools and community organizations to share his life experiences and lessons.
Of course, we also recognize the part of Mr. Nettingham's legacy is that he was also a Tuskegee Airman. The Tuskegee Airmen were the first Black and African American military aviators, navigators, mechanics, instructors, and support personnel in the U.S. Army Air Corps. These soldiers were renowned for their discipline and success in World War II, earning more than 150 distinguished flying crosses and helping to encourage the eventual desegregation of the U.S. Armed Forces. In 2007, the Tuskegee Airmen were collectively awarded a Congressional Gold Medal at a ceremony in the United States Capitol Rotunda, which is on display at the Smithsonian Institution.
Mr. Nettingham enlisted in the Army in 1944 and was accepted for training as an Army Air Corps flight radio operator, joining the ranks of the Tuskegee Airmen as a part of the first racially integrated flight radio communications class.
Today we celebrate the lasting impact Mr. Nettingham had on our world and our town by officially renaming Park Middle School the Malcolm E. Nettingham Middle School.
We would now like to welcome Malcolm V. Nettingham, son of Malcolm E. Nettingham, and Deborah Nettingham, daughter of Malcolm E. Nettingham, to the stage.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Debbie Nettingham. Malcolm E. Nettingham was my father. One day, I received a phone call from Tanya Williams, a member of the Scotch Plains School Board. She asked me, would it be okay if one of the schools was renamed after my dad? I agreed, thinking it would happen sometime in the distant future. But here we are, only 6 months later, and it's happening. A sincere thank you to Tanya, the school board, and Dr. D. As you know, my dad was one of the original Tuskegee Airmen. And these are the 6 principles they teach us and that my father lived by. Aim high. Believe in yourself. Use your brain. Be ready to go. Never quit and expect to win. I'm honored, overjoyed, proud, and very excited. Malcolm E. Nettingham Middle School, that's what's up.
My sister's so excited. She's a very excitable person. Good morning, everyone. I am Malcolm V. Nettingham, the son of Malcolm E. Nettingham, for whom this school will be renamed. We gather here to celebrate the renaming of the Park Middle School to honor my dad, Malcolm E. Nettingham, a Tuskegee Airman. It's a great honor to know that a school building will be renamed after my dad, Malcolm Nettingham. I'll give you a little background on my dad, a little more detail than my sister gave you. Malcolm was born in 1918 in New York City. Malcolm's aunt lived in the Jerseyland section of Scotch Plains. I heard some noise. She convinced Malcolm's mother to move to Scotch Plains, New Jersey, because she said it was a fine place to raise a family. Malcolm moved to Scotch Plains at a very early age and graduated from high school in 1936. This building, this auditorium, this platform. And so did I, and so did my sister. We graduated from Scotch Plains High School, and many others that I see here this morning. At that time, Park Middle School was Scotch Plains High School, where Malcolm had graduated from and received his high school diploma. Would you just imagine what happened 85 years ago in 1936? A school would be named in their honor. As I'm standing here today, I see the young people from this school, and maybe someday, somehow, some way, a school will be named in your honor. My dad was always about education. Malcolm led a dedicated life to civil engagements. He voted in every election that he could vote in throughout his life. Upon retiring, he worked at the polling stations until he was 90 years old. He served on the Scotch Plains Urban Renewal Committee. He was a worker in the CCC camps. That's the Civilian Conservation Corps in South Jersey as a youth. He also served in the Jersey Land Revitalization Committee, and he was a Master Mason at Alpha Lodge, number 116 FNAM in East Orange, New Jersey. Malcolm was drafted into the armed forces during World War II and was accepted as a candidate in the Army Air Corps as a gunner and radio operator. Malcolm was a member of the 617th Squadron, 477th Composite Group on a B-25 bomber. During this time, the entire U.S. military was segregated and the black airmen were called the Tuskegee Airmen. The Tuskegee Airmen had to overcome discrimination and prejudice due to a segregated U.S. Armed Force. Malcolm was selected to be a part of the Army experiment to see if African Americans cadets were as intelligent as white cadets. He became a member of the first racially integrated flight radio class. Malcolm and 4 other black cadets were selected to train with 25 white cadets for the first time in Army Air Corps history. The 5 black cadets did very well, and upon graduation, they were near the top of their 16-week training course. In 2007, Malcolm was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal, which is the highest civilian honor that Congress can bestow upon its citizens. He was also the Grand Marshal in the 2007 Scotch Plains Memorial Day Parade. Malcolm retired from the Communication Measurements Laboratory, which is known as CML, in Plainfield, after 30 years of service. Then he became a radio station engineer in Essex County and Somerset County radio stations. Malcolm was invited to both of Barack Obama's inaugurations. He attended the presidential parade, the military ball, where everyone was dressed in military Class A uniforms and tuxedos. The second time he attended the parades and inauguration for Barack Obama, I accompanied him and we had a grand time, and for 3 days and 2 nights we were treated like kings. And during the military ball, the President of the United States is obligated to attend at least 3 balls. That's primary. And we happened to be at one of the balls, which was the military ball. It was a great occasion and a great experience I will remember for the rest of my life. My dad never forgot where he came from, Scotch Plains, New Jersey. Yes, this is a great honor to rename a school that represents the legacy of Malcolm Nettingham and the Tuskegee Airmen. And schools are the cornerstone of our democracy. And all students deserve an inclusive, welcoming, honest, and meaningful education, and that prepares them for their future. Therefore, the legacy of Malcolm Nettingham and the Tuskegee Airmen will continue forever. I just want to take this occasion, this opportunity, to thank anyone and everyone who had anything to do with the renaming of the school, especially the Board of Education members, the superintendent, and all who made this possible. I also want to thank this small town in New Jersey, Scotch Plains, New Jersey, for making this a good place to live and a fine place to raise a family. Thank you.
We would now like to welcome Dr. Karen Kulikowski, President of the Scotch Plains Fanwood Board of Education, and Ms. Tanya Williams, Board of Education member, to the stage.
Thank you. Good morning. As former Park PTA president and current Board of Education president, it is quite an honor to be part of the Park Middle School renaming process. And someone such as Malcolm E. Nettingham, who served his country, who loved his town, and exemplified good citizenship, it's such an honor to give him this recognition. Our students will benefit and learn from his legacy. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Wow, we are finally here. It's very hard to not stand up here and cry, and my sister would say I get emotional about everything, but this is huge. My name is Tanya Williams, and I'm a proud Scotch Plains resident and Board of Ed member, and I'm the chair of the Wellness and Equity Committee. I was honored to know Mr. Nettingham as my neighbor for years prior to him passing. Mr. Nettingham loved Scotch Plains and said it to everyone he knew. We shared a similar story as my parents moved us here from Westfield many, many years ago, and that was our initial connection. Mr. Nettingham was humble, he was kind, and he really loved his community. And he was very proud of this town, and even prouder when he was named the Grand Marshal of the Memorial Day Parade. Who better to name a school after than Mr. Malcolm E. Nettingham, who personified all things we are striving for, a community service-oriented individual who saw the best in everyone. I'm honored to stand here today as we rename Park Middle School in his honor. To all that served, we thank you for your service. Thank you.
We would now like to welcome Mayor Colleen Marr of Fanwood and Mayor Josh Losardo of Scotch Plains to the stage.
Good morning. Good morning. Nettingham students, what a nice ring that has, right? What a delight it is for me to be able to say a few words. I had the privilege of meeting Mr. Nettingham when we honored him at the Scotch Plains Fanwood Memorial Day Parade. I had the honor of going into his home, sitting with him, being interviewed with our local newspapers, and hearing the stories and his passion for this community, but for his country. So life has come full circle because we are here today to acknowledge and to thank him. We're always been proud of Mr. Nettingham, that he's lived here in our community. He was a quiet hero in the movement towards integrating our country. And I couldn't be more pleased that the Board of Education has decided to take this important step forward in honoring his legacy. When we name a building for an individual, it's an honor for that person, but it is also a statement of our values. In this case, we are demonstrating that we value the patriotism Mr. Nettingham demonstrated when he enlisted to serve. We value his determination to perform at the highest level, knowing that he was representing his race. We value the quiet humility of this gentle man who returned to his home in Scotch Plains, where he lived for over 100 years. And we value the man who grew to earn the Congressional Gold Medal for his part in moving us towards a more perfect union. Our heroes and role models ought not to be limited to a single race or gender. because in real life they're not. This naming is a reflection of our appreciation for the multicultural society that we are. For Scotch Plains Fanwood, it's a momentous occasion, and I'm thrilled to be here with you. To the Nettingham family, to the Scotch Plains Fanwood Board of Education, and to the entire school community, I want to congratulate you on doing this, on embracing this, and moving forward. Thank you.
Not used to so many microphones. To the Nettingham family and friends and all honored guests. As we know, the decision to rename this school after Malcolm Nettingham was easy because it is altogether the right thing to do. It is incumbent upon us to honor Americans who selflessly and courageously fought for our country while breaking barriers along the way. In fact, the local veterans of America's armed forces are honored by our community each year, by the proud hanging of banners on our street poles when we celebrate Veterans Day and Memorial Day, and by public ceremonies marking the occasions. Mr. Nettingham's banner is amongst those the township is most proud to hang each year. And today we are proud to bestow upon him and his family a permanent honor, as future students will learn about Mr. Nettingham's enormous contributions to our country, as well as the challenges he faced as a black man in this country. As has been shared, Mr. Nettingham moved to Scotch Plains in 1923, attended high school right here, graduating in 1936, and became a U.S. Army soldier in 1944 to fight for our freedoms overseas. After completing basic training in Mississippi, Mr. Nettingham was accepted as a candidate in the Army Air Corps Flight Radio Operator Division, and later became a member of a 5-man crew of black soldiers chosen as part of our first racially integrated flight radio communications class. Mr. Nettingham excelled in Morse code and served as a radio operator and gunner, serving with tremendous bravery before being honorably discharged and returning here to his beloved hometown. His military service and the service of all Tuskegee Airmen constitutes a powerful and seminal metaphor about the struggle of African Americans and seeking freedom in America. And little did he know, Mr. Nettingham's service helped set the stage for civil rights advocates to continue the struggle to end racial discrimination during the civil rights movements of the 1950s and 60s. It was Malcolm Nettingham and his fellow Tuskegee Airmen and their efforts to highlight military segregation that caught the attention of Washington and helped ultimately inspire President Harry Truman's decision to issue Executive Order 9981 in 1948, which led to the official desegregation of the armed forces. Mr. Nettingham once remarked, "It makes me feel really good knowing that I had a part of a big thing, the integration of the military." Active in the community, Mr. Nettingham was a proud member of the Metropolitan Baptist Church, serving as a member of the choir and as a Sunday school teacher, always well-dressed and wearing a welcoming smile. The renaming of this grand old school is just the latest recognition for this hero that lived right here in Scotch Plains. Mr. Nettingham was a resident of our town for nearly 100 years, seeing our community evolve from rural farms to the tight-knit suburban neighborhoods that exist today. Yes, renaming the school after Mr. Nettingham, who, as Dr. Mast shared during her grand announcement, typified everything our community values: humility, service to others, inner strength, dedication to family and community, and so much more. Let this school's current students and staff be inspired to learn more about Malcolm Nettingham and challenge themselves to break their own barriers when the cause is just and right. And maybe down the road, Mr. Nettingham is right, another school will be named for you. Mr. Nettingham is a symbol of triumph over adversity and loyalty to one's country. There is no one else who deserves today's honor more than him. May his legacy continue to inspire citizens of this town, state, and nation for years to come. And on behalf of a grateful community, especially today, I feel I can only end properly by saying, Mr. Nettingham, thank you for your service.
We would now like to welcome Dr. Mast, Scotch Plains Fanwood Superintendent of Schools, to the stage.
Well, good morning and welcome. Thank you for coming to today's renaming ceremony. This moment is significant not only because we are honoring Malcolm E. Nettingham and his place in history, but additionally, this decision demonstrates the community's commitment to providing windows and mirrors. Window to understand the life of a local hero, and mirrors for each of us to see our common humanity. Our collective work continues to ensure that all students and families will benefit equally from the education given in our excellent schools. This is an exciting and proud moment for us and shows we continue to be committed to this work with the whole community, including mayors and our collaborative groups, Social Justice Matters, Truth, Racial Healing and Transformation, the Real Parents of SPF, the Rotary, and the Ministerium. I look forward to continuing our work together. Thank you.
We would now like to welcome Major General Rodney Falk, Commander of the 99th Readiness Division out of Joint Base McGuire, Dix Lakehurst, to the stage.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you for the invitation to participate in today's ceremony. It's truly an honor to be here on Veterans Day, as we appropriately celebrate and recognize Mr. Malcolm E. Nettingham, who served our nation with honor and distinction. You know, Veterans Day is a time to remember all those who served, past and present. In the Army, we consider our greatest strength to be our people. Our all-volunteer Army is a credit to Americans of all races, genders, and creeds. And our common commitment to defense and love of our country binds us together and unifies us as a fighting force. And that goes to the heart of what it means to be an American. As a nation, we must ensure that the service and sacrifices of our veterans are never overlooked or forgotten. The Army believes that every soldier is a soldier for life, and is committed to removing barriers to their success, both in and out of the Army. On Veterans Day, we honor the brave men and women from all walks of life who have stepped forward to defend our nation throughout our history. Today's ceremony is about one particular veteran, Mr. Malcolm E. Nettingham. I never had the privilege of meeting Mr. Nettingham, but it is clear to me that he made a tremendous impact on everyone he came into contact with in his life. He was a member of the greatest generation who served during a very different time in our nation's history. Reflecting American society and law at the time, the U.S. military remained racially segregated during World War II. Most African American soldiers and sailors were restricted to labor battalions or other support positions. In one experiment in the U.S. Army Air Corps, however, demonstrated conclusively that African Americans, if given equal opportunity and training, could fly in, command, and support combat units as well as anyone. These men, known as the Tuskegee Airmen, served with distinction and contributed to the eventual integration of the U.S. Armed Forces. Mr. Nettingham was one of these trailblazing men. He was one of a member of a 5-man crew of African American soldiers chosen as part of that first integrated flight radio communications class in the United States Army Air Corps, overcoming discrimination and prejudice to prove the doubters wrong. In recognition of his and his fellow Tuskegee Airmen's unique military records, which inspired revolutionary reform in the armed forces, he and his fellow airmen were awarded the Congressional Gold Medal. You know, our flag was not woven of a single color, and if you look around this room, you'll see that neither are we. The Army finds its strength in its people, and weaving together people of many different faiths, cultures, and races into a cohesive fighting force. Our Army has come a long way in the struggle for equality, and we owe many successes today to African American service members of the past, like Mr. Nettingham, who continued to step forward, willingly serving their country, even when their country wasn't willing to defend their rights. Soldiers live by the values of loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. And they don't leave these values behind or their skills when they transition to civilian life. After his military service, Mr. Nettingham continued to serve his communities by making positive contributions, building stronger futures, and inspiring future generations. I hope that as those future generations attend Malcolm E. Nettingham Middle School, they have the opportunity to learn about the life and service of the inspirational gentleman whose namesake now adorns their school. Mr. Nettingham was proud to be a veteran and proud that his work had long-ranging impact for other African Americans and indeed the entire Army. During the past 2.5 centuries, Americans like Mr. Nettingham have been called upon time and again to leave their civilian occupations and their families, pick up rifles and swords, and defend our freedoms and our way of life. This 246-year legacy of proud and noble service lives on within the brave men and women who wear the uniform today. Our current generation of service members has proven its courage and resolve over the past 20 years in places across the globe containing the scourge of terrorism far from American shores. Today's warriors realize they are fighting for more than just land or borders or waterways. Liberty, equality, and basic human rights are the spoils of today's wars. And we can never waver in our commitment to stop our enemies wherever and whenever they threaten to strike. It's no secret that our military's greatest strength, the ultimate weapon, is the people who volunteer to serve in uniform. Taking care of them and ensuring they are ready to fight and win our nation's wars is our top priority. Each year, we set aside this day across the nation to celebrate and pay tribute to America's veterans for their devotion, patriotism, selfless service, and sacrifice on behalf of us all. Our nation's veterans throughout our history have kept us free, and today we say thank you to them all. And I say thank you, Mr. Nettingham, for your service both on and off the battlefield. I want to thank you all for supporting our troops who continue to wear the uniform and make sacrifices today. At a time when less than half of 1% of eligible Americans serve in the armed forces, no price is too high to pay to ensure our service members have the best possible resources with which to train and prepare to defend our freedoms and our way of life. May God bless you. May God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
We would now like to welcome Ananda Daniel, President of the SPF-HS Black Student Union, to the stage.
Hi, my name is Ananda Daniel and I'm the current Black Student Union President at the high school. A few weeks ago, our club members attended Nettingham Middle School to teach the 5th graders about the Tuskegee Airmen and about the life of Mr. Nettingham. We were able to use educational books about the Tuskegee Airmen and have them reflect on all the information we threw at them. They were very engaged and had many, many questions for us. We are immensely glad and grateful to say that we had the opportunity to present to the 5th graders, and our members were sure to share the significance and importance of our visitation. It is so rare to know someone who is a Tuskegee Airman in our own town and someone who is so relevant in U.S. history. There were nearly 1,000 of them in the nation alone, and about 350 were active during World War II. By the end of the lesson, we believe we truly honored Malcolm E. Nettingham, his impact on Scotch Plains, and his service for our country. As a daughter of a now retired U.S. military lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army Air Force, our family and my father greatly thanks Mr. Nettingham and Scotch Plains veterans. So thank you, Nettingham Middle School, thank you, Malcolm E. Nettingham, and thank you, SPF veterans. Happy Veterans Day.
Thank you to everyone who spoke today to help us commemorate this historic event. We would now like to welcome Real Parents SPF to the stage. Real Parents SPF is a collective of parents, neighbors, alumni, and allies united to bring more representation, equality, anti-racism, and literary diversity into every corner of our school's lessons, libraries, and leaders. 3 members, Risha Leigh Gonzalez, Gina Berry, and Laura Benoit, who make a presentation to our schools.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Risha Leigh Gonzalez, and I'm a representative of Real Parents Scotch Plains Fairwood. I am here with my fellow co-leader Gina Berry and Laura Benoit. We are a collective of parents and community members who come together to spearhead a group with the acronym REAL, which represents representation, equality, anti-racism, and literary diversity. We work together on our quest for a more inclusive, diverse, and equitable education for all of our children. And I cannot think of a better reason to come here today. It is with great pride that I stand before you. As a nearly lifelong community member, I am overcome with joy that at this very school, one that I too attended, is now being renamed after the Honorable Mr. Malcolm E. Nettingham. What a wonderful time to be alive. One that is truly dear to us all. Our group was eager to be a part of something so monumental in our community, and we received an initiative in partnership with our district to get books about Mr. Nettingham and his experiences into every Scotch Plains Fanwood school. And today we have delivered upon that initiative with thanks to all of our members who took our book wish list and ran with it, donating all of the titles within just days of the list going live. Mr. Nettingham is a piece of our world's history at large and an influential piece of our community. These books will help aid our children in learning more about his life and legacy. So here is to our R, representation, and L, literary diversity. Thank you, Nettingham family, for sharing him with us. It is a great day for our community. Thank you.
We are now excited to recognize our student winners of the logo, mascot, and writing contests. Here is Dr. Dumerns, Principal of Nettingham.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you again for attending this monumental and momentous event. I have the privilege of bridging the gap here between our more adult speakers and to recognizing our student speakers. So as we transition from our adults to our students, it also behooves me to pay tribute to those who walked these hallways before us, many of whom are here today. So Debbie Nettingham was kind enough to provide me the names of all of the Nettingham family who once walked these halls. So if you were part of the family or friends, if you could please rise, if you were part of the Scotch Plains family or Scotch Plains High School or former Park Middle School, please be acknowledged. We're so honored that Malcolm E. Nettingham was able to leave his legacy both through himself and also through the wonderful family that he raised and nourished. So thank you so much. Our students over the past few weeks participated in a series of contests, a logo design contest, a mascot design contest, and a writing contest. And I am here now to honor those students who have won after more than 900 submissions. So, I would like to first recognize 8th grader Kevin Wright, who won our logo competition.
Good morning. Hello, I'm Kevin Wright. I'm an 8th grader here at Nettingham Middle School. I'm the winner of the logo design contest. After it was announced that I'd won the competition, the question I was probably asked the most is, why'd you pick a red-tailed hawk for the logo? So I picked it because there's actually a lot of symbolism behind the hawk. Malcolm E. Nettingham was a Tuskegee Airman who were some of the first African-American servicemen who were trained in aviation roles in the United States military. The Tuskegee Airmen were known as the Red-Tails because of their plane's coloring. Red-tailed hawks are also a common animal in this area, so I thought that they would be a good fit to represent an area where they're seen often. A few years ago, I had the opportunity to meet Mr. Nettingham and hear his story. It was very inspiring to hear about his service to our country and the challenges he had to overcome as an African American in the 1940s. It meant a lot to me that the school was changing its name to honor him, and I think that Mr. Nettingham was the perfect person to represent our school. He worked extremely hard to rise to the top of his class and showed immense bravery not only in the heat of battle, but also because he fought against segregation and racism to prove that African Americans could do just as well as, if not better than, white soldiers in the military. Red-tailed hawks are always soaring to new heights, just like Mr. Nettingham did throughout his entire life, and they always show courage and resilience while daring to reach those new heights. This is why I think that the red-tailed hawk is the perfect choice for the school's new logo and the perfect choice to represent Mr. Nettingham.
And Kevin is also practicing a lot of logo design, right, Kevin, over the past year. He gave us a whole mock-up of new colors, typography, and many different versions, which will be featured on some of our new upcoming t-shirts soon. Now I would like to welcome to the stage the young lady who won our mascot design contest. She is a 5th grader, Alexa Pereira.
Hello. Hello, my name is Alexa Pereira. I am very honored that my mascot was chosen. I thank my dad for helping me research and explaining to me about what the Red Tails did for the U.S. and how they were treated. I am inspired by Mr. Malcolm E. Nettingham and the Red Tails because I learned to never give up. I use that saying to help me draw my mascot. This has not only inspired me now, but even inspired me to do more things like this in life.
Great job, Alexa and Kevin. And Alexa, as you see, her original drawing was here on the left. And I think her dad helped her a lot with that, so thank you, Mr. Pereira. And then we had a digital artist retouch it so that we can reproduce it again on some new t-shirts that are coming out. So great job, Alexa and Kevin. It is time now to recognize our writing contest winners. The message of the writing contest was to have students reflect on why I am proud to be a Nettingham student. And we really let them run with it in their writing classes, and boy did they deliver. So we are recognizing 4 phenomenal students today who really went above and beyond in response to this writing task. We would first like to call up to the stage Leah Partist, 6th grader.
How to be a star Nettingham student. Students can soar above the sky like a red-tailed hawk and make a difference like Mr. Nettingham. This list will teach us students how to be like Malcolm E. Nettingham and how to show true Nettingham pride. 1. Treat everyone equally. Mr. Nettingham fought for equality for not just him but for all the military, and with hard work, equality came. We should fight for equality too, and this can be in small ways such as treating everyone the same and giving everyone opportunities. We are the same people at heart after all. Step 2. Stay young in your mind and heart. We are all growing throughout these years, but we must stay young and positive during our growth. Just because Malcolm Nettingham grew old, it didn't mean he was old inside. He still achieved many things and was still the same person no matter how old he was. Step 3. Show your school colors. Our school colors of crimson, black, and yellow all represented traits the Tuskegee Airmen showed. Show black by staying determined. Show black by staying determined and being hardworking. Show crimson by being grateful and selfless, and show yellow by being kind and courageous. Step 4. Make an impact. You don't need to change the world or be remembered in history, but just like Mr. Nettingham, you should try to make an impact. It could be in our school, our community, or someone's life. Show people you care and don't be afraid to speak up. If there's a problem, try to fix it, and just be kind. One kind action can change the world. And finally, explore new places and learn new things. Keep an open mind because what you find might surprise you. Connect with others and get to know people. Make new friends, and as always, keep on persisting. Overall, I am proud to be a Nettingham student, and so should others too.
I am proud to be in a school that represents a man that helped change the military. I am proud to represent the man who showed bravery and determination. He was a part of our school. He went here, he weren't here, and he was one of us. He showed students and staff alike that we could do anything and that there really are no limits. I am honored to be a student at Nettingham Middle School.
And now we would like to recognize our 7th grade writing contest winner, Jasleen Gonzalez.
Hello, my name is Jasleen Gonzalez, and I am proud to be a Nettingham student because, as Mr. Nettingham once quoted, we need more than just pilots. We need navigators, radiomen, and mechanics, all people who keep the planes in the air. As I look back on this quote and what it means to me, it means we're all a team, and that's exactly what this school stands for. At Malcolm E. Nettingham Middle School, we're just like the Tuskegee Airmen. We're here to build each other up. We all have an individual strengths, and when each of us shine, we form one unbelievable team. The principals are our navigators to give us direction. Our teachers are mechanics to help sharpen our skills. Our support staff are the radiomen, advocating for us along the way. And we are the students are the pilots, operating our own planes for our desired destination. We see, one can't work without the other. We all depend on each other to become a dream team, and that we've become. I could not be more proud and honored to attend a school named after such an amazing and heroic individual, one who fought against all the odds to serve our country during World War II. This school is rich with history, and it takes a moment in time to stop and observe all it has to offer. No matter how old you are, your learning journey is never done. At this moment in time, I say I am proud to be learning from the same school that Mr. Nettingham once attended. And one day, once I finish my flight, I hope people will be proud to say I was a Nettingham student. Thank you.
And now to recognize our first of our 2 8th grade winners, Elizabeth Adeboyega.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Adeboyega, and I'm in 8th grade. I'm proud to be a Nettingham student because Nettingham is a proud name to say, who helped save many lives in any possible way. Elevating others to take a stand because his skin wasn't just a color, it's what made him a man. Persevering through the challenges he faced, he showed his talent and it couldn't be erased. The commitment and courage he displayed will shine throughout generations and bring forth a new day. So as you walk the hallways today, remember you too can be the same. Welcome to Nettingham Middle School and have a great day.
And finally, our other 8th grade winner, Sophia Sanisidro.
I am proud to be a Nettingham student because of what Mr. Nettingham stood for. He stood up to change minds. He stood up to overcome prejudice. He stood up while acting under pressure. I am proud to be a Nettingham student because I am proud of change. I am proud to be a Nettingham student because I don't have to be the pilot of the operation. I don't have to lead, but I can still demand change. I don't have to accept what I am told. I don't have to be what people expect me to be. I am proud to be a Nettingham student because I can aspire to be a recognized member of the community. I can look at the way he persevered. I can change the way I view difficult situations. I can appreciate how fortunate I am. I am proud to be a Nettingham student because I was able to meet Malcolm E. Nettingham once. I was able to watch the way his eyes trailed off as he looked back on old memories. I was able to listen to his laugh. I was able to watch his smile as hands flew up in the air with questions. I am proud to be a Nettingham student because I have the privilege of being a part of the first graduating class of a school, not just named after a street. I have the ability to continue his legacy by being a part of something bigger than myself. I have the power to teach others. I have a connection to him forever. I am proud to be a Nettingham student because I get to walk the halls of a school of which Mr. Nettingham walked. I get to learn where he did. I get to have a part of him shared with me as I pass through the double doors every morning. I get to listen to people say the name of a school, knowing that not even a name is enough to honor him.
Thank you. Let's give another big round of applause to all of our contest winners.
Congratulations to all of our student winners. As the event draws to a close, we invite you to join in the singing of our district's alma mater, performed once again by the Blue Notes, conducted by Mrs. Jenkins.